Speaking of this Alabama game, we got a couple questions on this one. This might be a tandem one. Packaging, bundling, bundle, and ave, some might say, Corey Clark. Let's go to our guy down in Naples. I think he's still in Naples, our guy, Mark. He's supposed to come on and talk about JFK conspiracies at some point.
That's right. That's right.
All right. He's starting to think that more and more that getting Bama week one's a very good thing for Mike in this program. It's not 2017 Bama. They look very pedestrian at times last year. Pressure's on DeBoer. FSU's got little to lose. Crowd. Tommy C might run for over 100 yards and lay it all on the field. But here's the thing. Really gives Mike a chance on the big stage to show that he's fixed the effort issues in the locker room. If they come out flat, uninspired, defeatist energy, we'll all know in week one that there's a systemic problem. However, if FSU punches them in the mouth, even wins a close one,
hope is a dangerous thing.
It changes everything. So bring it on. Show that smart and calculated changes were made on and off the field. Time to show it and early. We have another one, same sort of theme, if you will, Corey. And it comes from our guy, Noel 89 Nation. So he had a lawyer kind of lay it all out. Then he comes on top of it and says, with the coaching changes and roster moves that took place, I said that awkwardly, didn't I? I got to work on my phrasing.
No, you're good, buddy. You're good.
Anyhow, with the coaching changes and roster moves that took place during the offseason, do you believe the Noles are truly ready to face Alabama in the season opener? Or is this a matchup simply setting them up for failure and that will ultimately keep the fan base chasing Coach Norvell with their torches and pitchforks? By virtue, Corey, of this being pretty much the only brass tacks question about football, and Nole Nation hasn't won it before, thanks for the assist, Mark. Maybe we'll get you an extra drawing. But we're going to go with our guy, Noel 89 Nation, as our Cummins generating discussion question of the week. Corey, if you please could get the generator going. Oh.
Just pushing the button this time, buddy. I don't have to do that noise. I'm just pushing the button.
He has learned. It is generating discussion. It is sparked by Cummins. Give them a follow on Instagram, everybody. Check out all the awesome things you can do with the Onan line of products in your recreational activities. Marine life, boat life. It's time to get the boat back out there, kids. Get dad to get the boat back out there. Make sure you've got a generator that's a Cummins generator. Get your portable generator, which you can win if you get entered into the grand prize drawing by having the best question of the week, which our guy Noel 89 Nation does. There's two things to the Mark's question, I guess, Corey, although we're going to focus here mostly on Noel 89 Nation. The good and the bad, I think, for Florida State is you get Alabama with their new quarterback being broken in for the first time in a game with real stakes. So that bodes well for you. I think I'd rather get Ty Simpson or whoever's going to be their starting quarterback August 30th than October 30th. But also you're going to get a fresh Ryan Williams, who apparently was held out during spring with some nicks and knacks and bruises. Because I don't know if I looked at his production last year, Corey. He tailed off. He did not have his 100-yard, 6-reception games in late October, November. And DeBoer said as much. He needs to get bigger, stronger, more durable. But he's going to be plenty fresh, but he's going to have a slightly rusty, not broken in quarterback. I don't know. How do you feel about the matchups? Do you believe that Florida State is truly ready to face Alabama in the season opener?
I mean, yeah, but we're in the middle of May. And I'll think that 3:36 on August 30th, 6 o'clock. Ask me again. I might have a different opinion, but yeah, I do think that they're ready to play Alabama because I don't know what Alabama is. And I also think even if Alabama, let's say Alabama is a top 10 team. Let's say Florida State is a top 30 team. That's not that big a difference. In 2025 college football, yes, Alabama would probably win the game, but you're talking about degrees. Top 10 teams lose to the 26th team in the country on the road all the time. That's college football now. The parity, there's never been more parity, even as these power schools, and Florida State should be considered a power school, load their rosters with a lot of high-priced talent. The parity has never been greater in college football. So, yes, I do think Florida State has made enough changes to the roster, and then also the coaching staff, probably more importantly, that I think I trust that Gus Malzahn will have a game plan ready to exploit whatever he sees exploitable on the Alabama defense. And I do like Tony White, and I like the fact that Tony White runs what can be a confusing defense. And when you're facing a quarterback that has not played a lot of college football, certainly not at this level or with these stakes, as you put it, anything is possible. Do I expect Florida State to win? No. Alabama's good. They have good players. And you just went 2-10. And I think that's a key, too. You do still have enough players from that team last year that if you do get down 10-0 in the first quarter, you just cash it in.
Oh, no! We suck again!
Say, oh, well, we're not any good this year either. Let's just spiral. Or will we see some what for and some fight back? That is something that we just don't know about this team. I do think Alabama has a better roster. It's not so much better that Florida State doesn't have a chance. It just isn't. That's not how college football works. And you do have some good players, man. And Castellanos is a tough dude to deal with. So, yeah, I can see them. I definitely think they have a chance to play in this game. I don't think it's setting up anyone for failure to assume that Florida State on their home field in a season opener can compete with Alabama. Yeah. But also, those torches and pitchforks were well earned.
Touche. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too much into the matchups part of it, but I mean, I get your point. Like, Alabama's got the better roster than Florida State, top to bottom. Yes, probably, but like, how is that all going to match up? Like, the only thing that I feel is a significant fear for either team. Like, I'm pretty uneasy about Florida State's cornerbacks against Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard, as well as Isaiah Horton, who's really well at Miami last year. Like, that's a tricky one, but I don't know if they're linebackers. Again, listen, Deontay Lawson, really talented guy, but he's coming off an injury. Keon Sabb's one of their good safeties. He's coming off an injury, missed all of spring. So, like, does that give Tommy some more running around room, some little more, confidence, having maybe a hobbled safety and a hobbled linebacker, and how's that all play out? So, whatever the difference is in their roster, I think the matchups might actually play a little bit more in Florida State's favor and kind of keep things a little tighter and close. But no need to totally dive into it. What do you think about Mark saying kind of about showing that smart and calculated changes were made on and off the field in that game? Like, will we be able to tell the trajectory of Florida State football based off that one game? Because last year we probably, if you go back and watch the wrap up, man, you were not feeling good in Dublin at all.
And I think when you look, the peel back look at this game is, okay, what is this line of scrimmage like on both sides of the ball? Okay, what's this offense been without Jordan Travis? You know what I mean?
Like you felt like a level of unease. I don't think anybody else really did. We chalked it up to a whole bunch of weird factors. Listen, the way they smoked LSU, you're like, okay, this team is legit. They might be competing for something really serious. And you really can't count. I guess you can count 2022, right? The LSU block kick and the way they smoked Duquesne early on. Like, will week one really show us a lot about the trajectory of Florida State, you think, for this season?
I mean, yeah. I don't put all the eggs in that basket, though, because it is the first game of the season. Teams are allowed to get better. This is a new team with a new coaching staff, so there are going to be some hiccups. And you hope, like last year, Florida State's best game in hindsight was probably the Georgia Tech game. If they'd have played Georgia Tech in late November, if that game would have been in late November, like when Georgia Tech played Georgia, Florida State would have lost to Georgia Tech by 40 points. And they lost on a last-second field goal. That was as close as they were to Georgia Tech all season, which is sad to say, but it's the reality. So that team got progressively worse as the season went along. You are allowed to get better. So if you lose to Alabama 28-10, I'm not going to sit there and say, fire them, it's over. Now, if you're losing to Florida 28-10 to finish 4-8, absolutely. But teams are allowed to get better, and it is a huge challenge to face Alabama in a season opener. I don't know how many times Alabama's lost the season opener in the last 2 decades. It ain't much. So I think you'll be able to tell a level of effort and physicality in that game. But so what? All teams are supposed to play hard in game one. They all have they're all thinking great things. Like that would be a great. That would be it wouldn't be a great sign if they played hard in week one. It would be a horrible sign if they did not, and if they gave up after they got down 10-0, like I said earlier. So that's the only thing I would really take away. Well, also if they beat them 40-3, if Florida State won 40-3, that's a big takeaway. But if it looks like the Georgia Tech game did last year, and you lose a close game, and you played hard, great. That's what you're supposed to do. How are you going to come back the next time you play a Division I team and you get behind early? That's when I'll know about this team. Alabama, it's such an odd, tough way to start the season. I don't know that you can judge everything or put too much stock into what happens in game one. But I know people will, because that's what we do. But I'm couching the answer. It depends on what it looks like, but I don't think I'm going to put too much stock into game one unless they get get completely embarrassed and blown off the field, or they blow Alabama off the field. Then I think I'll have my mind made up.
I'm trying to think, like in the time that we've done this show, our first year was 2018. That Virginia Tech game laid out what that year was going to be like. 2019 was the Boise State game. That laid out how the season was going to be.
Well, they weren't hydrated.
True.
Yeah.
2020, that Georgia Tech game kind of laid out how the season was going to be. 21, Notre Dame didn't, though, right? Notre Dame really close, and you end up losing to. So maybe game ones of Mike Norvell's tenure really do kind of tell the story. I do want to check real quick. I don't know if I said the other safety's name for Alabama that's really good. I think I might have said Bray Wyatt. If I did, I apologize. That's kid that went to Troy. I think he's actually a wrestler now for the WWE. It's actually Bray Hubbard. And he and Ty Simpson are brand ambassadors for Crimson Tide Outdoors.
Okay.
And check out them. I don't know if you can you? I can't. All I see are hats.
Yeah. They blend into the foliage.
Yeah.
I don't even see what's going on there.
Foliage.
I call it foliage.
All right. So, anyways, this guy, Bray Hubbard, he's supposed to be really good at safety. So we'll see how it is. We'll see if he's going to be gassed under that 330 sun and Doak Campbell Sam when Tommy Castellanos is running him ragged from sideline to sideline. He's going to run out of juice. But you know who won't run out of juice? Those of you who select Cummins. Cummins products, the Onan portable generator. Look it up. Best in the business. Ultra quiet, ultra reliable, just like Corey Clark. Well, you're not quiet, but you know.
Thanks.